Hey everyone, it's time for another edition of Someone Loan Me a Knife, Let's Try Not to Pound It Through a Log. And this time it's my favorite, the Hawk Knives. And why yes, Hawk Knives trust me enough with the prototype, and I don't believe it either. Now this video is about the newest model in the lineup. You're excited, I'm excited, and specifically we're excited for the Idaho-made Talon. I mean, all Hawk knives, like their mainline knives, are made in Idaho in a shop. Now, I don't have a ton of B-roll this time because I was trying to be gentle. And no real skits because I was told to knock that shit off because I'm an adult now. But what I do have is gushy, glowy praise for a pocket knife, which is completely normal and well-adjusted, I assure you. You know, I just want to go to the mall and the line at CVS where you pick up your medications and talk to everyone I know about pocket knives, just like a regular guy. Now, if you're familiar with the Hawk knives, they is famous. They is famous for the deadlocks first and foremost, which of course I am a #1 fan of. The Model B and the Model C I own are perfect switchblades, and I will accept no other opinion. And there's the Mud, which was made by Millet in the USA back then in 2000, 17, 18, 19. They made most of the parts. I believe Hawk did the final assembly on them in QC. And these were last produced in 2019, but I snagged one in the last run, and you are not going to buy this one. It is like mine forever. When I die, it's going to accidentally be thrown away with all this other useless junk I have, and no one's going to know, and that's going to be the right thing for it. Now, it stands for something. It's like a multi-under demo. No, that's the Ludit. Donut. Datsun. Didgeridoo. I don't remember. Okay, let me look it up. It is the Mud Utility Dirt Defiant, okay? Hawks love their little acronyms, and if you look at some of their, like there's the RAM, there's, I think ET, was there one called the ET? I don't remember if that stood for something. But they have several knives and several locks with their own little acronyms. If you're familiar, you understand that. Then you have the Shortcut, their box cut fidgeter. And unfortunately, I cannot find my Shortcut right now. I feel like I used it strip and caulk. And hopefully one day I can find it. But if you've seen it, let me know in the comments. As a backup, though, to show off my current Hawk collection, I do have the Mantis-produced Gearhead. This one was more of a conversation piece than a user, though. Of course, when I say conversation, I mean primarily with myself. It's not really technically a real Hawk, but it's Hawk-ish, as in, like, it's not designed and made by them. It is designed by them, but it's like, you know, it's made like by somebody else. That's how it's like classic Hawk, where they used to design and other people would make it. You know, Kershaw used to make a lot of theirs, or is it Kershaw or Kershaw? I don't know. Who knows? But today, the Talon, which evokes memories of the Orbit, which is a Serge Panchenko collaboration, and the Mud. It kind of has those classic lines. It feels like it fits in that lineup. And I super regret ever missing on the Orbit, right, or the Zero Tolerance Mud. I mean, I didn't know about those at the time, so I'd have to travel back in time. So I guess that's not possible. And I don't want to buy your fucking $800, $1,500 one, okay? I don't have any money. I'm broke. You're like, oh, he owns Hawks, but he's broke, huh? I got an idea. So now the Talon. It's unique in the Hawk-produced Idaho-made knives because it is not an auto. I guess neither is a Shortcut, but is that a pocket knife or is that a box cutter? You can talk about that in the comments. Now this one here is about the same size-ish as the Mud and carries through the aesthetic of that one. And here are the dimensions of it. It is not a massive knife, however, it is in line with the Mud, or say Paramilitary 2. It's like a medium-sized knife. You know, when someone asks how big it is, you just say the regular size. You know what I'm talking about. Now first here is the blade. Blade here is M390. I know, titanium and M390. How could you have guessed? And it is sheep's footish, maybe it's like the upswept blade style, like a Persian. I don't know. Maybe you have your own cool little name for it. As you know, though, Hawks are not your ultra surgical slicers, and I expect a little bit of flair in the grind and a solid thickness, and this is that. Like if you own the Mud or if you own the Deadlocks, you know what to expect out of a Hawk. I am not a TRM cult member, and I'm not looking to join. I appreciate people who slice hairs and those paper-thin slices of tomatoes. It seems like a good use of your time, you know? I see those on the feed, and people get really excited about how they can slice things. I usually don't think about that when I'm using my pocket knife to just break stuff down or cut things open, but Those guys like it. Action here is awesome. It is a fidgeter, and it is not an auto or assisted. So you can buy, own, flaunt, and have it confiscated off you in a lot of the places you may not be able to with their autos. Now this is a Hawk Lock with a toggle detent. And what does that mean? I have no idea because I'm stupid. So for the other stupids at home, it's kind of like a button lock, but it's like not a button lock.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
You know, more specifically though, the switch on the side is more of a lock release than a hold and fling deployment method. You need to either use the thumb studs or more logically the front flipper tab to deploy. You know, it is a front flipper. The thumb studs are more for like over travel stops and then for the thumbs, so maybe they're not thumb studs. So front flip to deploy, hold the toggle detent Hawk Lock thingamabobber back and fling it closed. The deployment is easy and smooth. And I know the more I describe it, the less it is like a button lock, because usually you can press and hold button locks and then fling it. But I'm saying that for a good reason, and that good reason is I don't know what I'm talking about. But the toggle detent does have a detent to get over. So like some button locks, the blade just swings freely. You can manipulate your wrist and it falls into the handle. You release and it's locked closed. This one doesn't work like that. It's not a bug, it's just how it works. If you release the blade, if it's vertical, it does fall closed. Or you just are gonna have to give it a flick if you're just trying to flick it closed. It's not gonna just fall closed. It's not a drop shutter. It's just not how the detent works, toggle detent. If you can't handle it, guess what? You don't have to buy it. All right, what about the handle and design? If you thought I was gonna say anything other than perfect, then maybe you haven't seen these videos before. I can't overstate enough just how nice and this looks and it feels in your hand. There's a fondling quality to all Hawk knives. They have their weathered edges and smooth transitions in the materials. It's kind of like Surge knives. They also have this quality too. I feel like the Hawks and Surge are kind of like kindred spirits. They do collaborate a lot. They have a similar aesthetic, and I kind of love the look. You can just kind of sit there, get drunk, and cry a little, fondling them in your hand. Maybe it's a great knife. Maybe there's a lot of other stuff going on right now with your DraftKings and crying feels good. But that's between you and your pocket knife. You don't need to talk to anybody else about those feelings. Now the handle here is going to come in squiggly looking carbon fiber slabs. There are 4 options currently, and I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of custom ones and all kinds of shit that I will not be able to afford, but maybe those bourbon knife guys out there like that kind of stuff and have that kind of money. But I think I like the Dark Matter Polar most of all, and the Mars Valley kind of has a rusty quality that kind of pops too. Kind of looks like Mars. Maybe you left your knife outside overnight. It kind of has that quality on the slabs. And pocket clip. It's the same style found on the Deadlocks and the Shortcut. It's got that chip clip technology. I'm sure some out there hate pinching it and put it in your pocket, but I love it. It's like another little over-engineered thing that makes it a Hawk knife. It's functional and gives you something to fidget with. Well, you think about where you last had your Shortcut. Pretty sure it was in the front windows that I was stripping the caulk from. I don't remember. But you just press and push it in your pocket, and there's nothing wrong with it, and I love the pocket clip. It looks cool and it's fidgetable. Comparisons, we'll keep this short. First, the Talon versus the Paramilitary 2. Again, not small, not overly large, just medium-sized. My Paramilitary 2 has, of course, the Flightanium aftermarket Lotus scales, I think, and a Lynch clip. This was originally the Blurple when those cost $140, which feels like 20 years ago. Now the Deadlock. Let's go Model B first. I don't have any more money, but if I did, I would track down an all-titanium Model B with a flamed hardware. You know what? I might even go as far as trading it for a few of these catalytic converters I've recently found laying around. Everybody just finds copper or catalytic converters just kind of laying around in their yard, right? Like I do. Now the Model C in aluminum. Let me tell you a story. There was a time when the Model C came in aluminum and you paid around $1,100 for one. And then they switched back to titanium. So the guys who complained about aluminum not being premium and they're never used, kept in a safe switchblade, could now complain about the price going up. That's how titanium works in knives. But the Hawks did switch back to titanium because it made it easier to manufacture. Not easier, but they knew how to deal with titanium better than the aluminum because each one comes with its problems. I don't know. Sounds like knife maker stuff that I don't fully understand. I thought aluminum would be easier, but it wasn't. And that's the story. I do prefer a lighter knife if possible. I have a lot of knives in titanium, and I will always gladly take an aluminum variant if it's cheaper and at least looks as cool. Remember, the number one rule to buying a pocket knife is it's gotta look cool to you. Okay? If this doesn't look cool to you, then I'm sorry. That's not your opinion. That's just wrong. Now the mud. Now this was my first Hawk, and it was about, man, was it $450? I don't know. Yep, that was a time, wasn't it? $450 Hawk knives. Wasn't that long ago. Wrapping it up. I saw since I shot this video that these drop with a $300 deposit and cost a full $950. So $300 up front, and then your invoice when the knife is ready in a couple months or whatever. And listen, okay, I waited on my deadlock for over a year after my deposit, so if it takes longer than like a month or 2 or 3 months, suck it up. If I can deal with it, you can too. Think of it this way. $650 invoice will be a lot easier to swallow after a little bit of extra time. Anyway, to sum it up, these are absolutely amazing. I don't know how long these are going to take to make. You will need to check with them. I think it's a few months. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass here. I don't have any notes on this pocket knife, mostly because I have bad takes. Everything is perfect on it. The pre-orders will be open at November 25th, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 2024. That is in just a few days, so God, I hope I get this video done. Be ready, though. You will need to sign up for their newsletter to get the drop link. People who have bought Hawks before know this by now. You will get advance notice. This is going to be the link to purchase that at this time. If you haven't signed up for their newsletter, you won't be able to purchase it. So this is your warning. Anyway, say hi to the patrons. They keep me in camera and editing gear, and I really appreciate it. I tend to upgrade a couple pieces of things a year. Probably getting ready to upgrade my camera again. And, B&H has that no interest financing. So, like, the patrons a month, I just send that right to B&H. Hopefully they have a 24 months no interest financing because I can get a little bit nicer things that way. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys sticking with me for the 10 or so years I've been doing these reviews. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, and thank you for watching.